thing that we're going to want to talk a lot about is the rhythm playing in bluegrass. It's a very particular feel because there's kind of a swing and a bounce to it, and with the guitar, you can play the bass line along with it. So if you've got an upright bass player or something that you play with on a regular basis, you can lock in with what they're doing, but you can also simulate that when you're practicing at home, and you can get a feel for the rhythms. You know, if you're listening to tunes or kind of familiarizing yourself with what the rhythm section is doing if you want to play melodies over it is really helpful. So with bluegrass, let's just kind of create our own little patterns that we can, or our own little chords in a kind of a traditional pattern. So you can start with G. So you've got G, B, D, G, D, and G. You can play it like this. You can play it like this. They sound a little bit different. I like to play with the middle finger one forward. It just sounds really full and rich. That's the one that I prefer, but you can do this one too. So what we're doing is we're creating a pattern where on the one of a bar, you've got G. And then you do a down up on the two and. And you alternate between G and D for the bass note on 1 and 3. 2 and 3. So you're starting off on G on 1, and then you're going down up on the bottom 3 strings on 2 and. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and. So with this pattern, what we're doing is kind of simulating what things sound like when it gets a little bit faster. We want to try and slow it down, focus on which notes end up on which part of the beat. So with this one, we're starting on G, 2 and D, and just kind of alternating. Do that for a while so you can kind of get familiar with the picking pattern, because if you're just used to just going, it'll be a little bit different because you have to isolate individual notes in that. So that might be a little bit tricky for you up front, but again, slow down. Throwing some cowboy on the trail. That's what it sounds like with G. So now what we're going to want to do is throw in C, which is the 4 chord in a G pat. Like, you know, if you're doing a G blues, like a bluegrass blues or something like that, you would go from down what those chords look like. So we already know G. Okay, we're alternating between G and the open D. So now when we move up to C, sure, this is the standard, folk C pattern. C, E, G, C, E. So you got your root note in C, and then the 5 of C is G. just do those two together. So we'll do G,